This is the paint that I'm using to paint the staircase for my dollhouse. And I'm just going to show you this first real quick. It's burnt umber from Apple Barrel. It's very inexpensive paint. And I do end up putting almost 3 coats on, about 2.5 coats. And as you can see, I chopped off the top of the staircase so that it would fit, because where the staircase leads is into a void, and if you pretend with the doors that open up to it, you can imagine that there is some kind of a hallway there that's a landing, and that leads into the bathroom and the 2 upstairs bedrooms that you'll see in the dollhouse I'm constructing. So I'm just going over it as quickly as I can and trying not to leave heavy brush strokes, because the downfall of this paint is that it is quite chalky when it dries, and it will leave brush strokes if you glop it on in certain places. But it's so inexpensive, and it does have good coverage, and as long as you use some brush control, you can overcome that. And you can also sand afterwards, which I'm not going to do with these stairs because I'm trying very hard to apply the paint in thin layers, and then I'll paint it again. I did buy this off of Amazon, and I'll leave a link for it. I didn't want to build a staircase at this point. I wanted to just move ahead with my dollhouse and get a dollhouse finished, my first one. So I bought this one. I haven't bought much furniture for the dollhouse. What I did is I had some antique furniture from the 1930s, from Cage and from Strombecker and other places that you'll see too. And I'm just showing you that. Stop the film occasionally so you can just take a good look at it. And I shopped around on Amazon, and this was the least expensive one, and they have a right hand and a left hand banister that's available. Anyway, I'm just showing you the underside of the second floor and where that hole is, and that's the second floor flooring is in. I did end up using Mod Podge on the bottom floor, and I covered it with a gloss Mod Podge because it isn't as glossy as some of the other glosses out there. So it's it's more of a satiny finish. It ends up being. It's not a high gloss finish, but it did bring out some of the color of the floor. Since the floors are paper, I didn't make tiles, which would have been nice, but as I said before, it's my first dollhouse, and I wanted to move ahead, and I think that these paper floors work very well. You can see where I put it on either side of the tile. I actually had to remove that tile floor because I tried to put another kind of gloss on it, and it actually buckled the floor, so I ripped it off and did it again, and I will put the Mod Podge on it. Okay, and I'm making a stair runner now, and this was printed out. I made this design off of an old wallpaper design, and this is velour paper with a sticky back. And I'm cutting it out and in strips and trying to apply it in one piece as much as I can. But I do run into some trouble. You'll see that as I go along. But this seems to work out really well, this velour paper. And I made it crooked. That was the thing that bothered me. I ended up ripping that off and redoing it because I just didn't want it to be crooked. And if you put it on correctly, you can rejoin it in a way that you won't be able to see it. So you just have to match the pattern and press it really hard, and it'll cover up the seam. So I'm cutting out a new piece. I actually had to do this a couple times because I didn't go far enough. It was still crooked, and I didn't see that until after I put this new piece on. And there, it's just as crooked as it was before. So I ripped it off. and went further up the stair to fix the angle that had gone wonky on me. So that was a little hard to get off. I had stuck it on pretty hard, but I managed to get enough of it off so that I could put a new piece on. So that was one of the things I did that put a little bit of a delay on it. So I mean, if it's slightly crooked, and it still is, that's okay. Just as long as it's just not way out of line. I'm just using a bookbinding tool to smooth it in. And there. Now some people might say, oh, put the little brass stair holders on, but I'm not going to do that. This dollhouse is a little more, it's a combination of some realistic things and things that are more in line with the type of furniture that I'm using. Okay, my dollhouse will be opened from the front. Here is the way that I actually wallpapered it and put the floors in. I used Elmer's rubber cement, and I'm used to using this. A lot of people don't like to use it, but it really holds, and it holds for a long time. I've had things that I've wallpapered for my Barbies that have lasted for 15 years without any problem. So I just showed a little blurb of where the molding was going to go. And I did the living room. I finished that, and there's another shot of the molding. Of course, the molding will be a little thicker. Be baseboard and crown molding. And it'll be there will be moldings around the windows and doors. There's a seam there. Now, if the rubber cement spills over, you see that dark place there. I wait for a while before I try to rub that off. And there's the foyer, and I put 2 rugs down, as you can see. Those are made out of velour paper as well. And a little bit of a close-up. I print them at very high resolution so that it picks up some of the textures. And there's the stairs. And again, I'm mixing a lot of patterns, but going with a blue color theme as the main color that I'm using. I'm doing what they would have done in middle-class homes, and that's mixing patterns, using what they had. And that I wallpapered the same yesterday as well. And this is one of those wall murals that used to be very popular. They're still popular. And that's just a view of what the trim is going to look like. And so I went all the way around with that so that it would be consistent. And it's a continuous pattern. And you'll see that blue square and the rectangle in the back, but stairs hide that, so you won't see that. And I glued a door on. Again, I didn't use doors. I didn't invest in the money or the time to make the doors. Perhaps my next dollhouse I'll go to that length. But they will have trim and doorknobs, and that's just an archway that will be coated with wood as well to finish it up. And that's the 2 rooms. And now there's the kitchen, and I'm not finished with the wallpaper yet, but you'll see it finished. The color doesn't look as bright on the film as it does in person. The green does get picked up really well, and when you're looking at it live from the linoleum floor, the fake linoleum floor. Now there, all the wallpaper's done. There are little dark spots, but that's because I had glue on my fingers, and that will roll off later very easily. And there's the trim, and that's how it will be trimmed out. And I will put a door in there as well that'll match the door in the foyer. Now, I put that there so you could see that I'm going to put wood all the way around on the outside. It will look like a wooden dollhouse, though the inside of it is all foam core. Okay, it's much lighter, and I'll be able to pick it up and carry it around. And I'm waiting for some wood now to come in, big panels for the front. And it will have a third floor, which will be an attic. Okay, I just put the furniture in just so that you could see what it will look like. And I put my little radio in, books. That will there'll be more pictures on the walls as I go along. But I just wanted you to get an idea of what all of it'll look like. There's a little horse I made that last week on the bookshelf. There's an old photo. There's the lamp I just finished. I didn't get it straight on that little table. I made the little table. Almost all of this furniture I made. The only thing I didn't make was that little bench in front of the chair. Everything else I made. Well, I didn't make the camera, but everything else. So that's pretty much what it'll look like. And I made most of the things in here except for the clock and the wing chair I didn't make. And that's the new lamp that I finished, and the bench I finished a couple weeks ago. And the table I made as well just a few days ago so that it would have a lamp table. That's a 1930's cage side chair. That's the real deal. And there's what the trim will look like on the right. And there's my little kitty, my calico cat that I made on the stairs. There's more trim. How that will look. And there's the 1930s cage wall clock. I decided to use that instead of the grandfather clock I made previously. It just didn't fit. And here's the kitchen setup. And you've seen this before. I just rearranged a few things because I have more room. And there's my little kitchen chicken. I bumped the whole thing and some of the dishes went wonky, but there's what the trim will look like. There'll be a doorknob. I didn't make the refrigerator. That I bought, but I painted it to match the other things. But I made everything else in this room. Well, I didn't make the pots and pans. I had those and the dishes. There's my wall clock that I made last couple weeks ago. Not clock. I meant to say telephone. I put some little writing things on the telephone base so that you would see. I don't have a little pencil or pen yet, but I'll make one. And there's the side table and oven that I made, and the table and chairs. And I put a rug in here. I like the way the rug looks, so it's also a dining room. They don't have a formal dining room, but I thought, well, that'll take care of that. And it ties in with the colors, which is a jadeite green, and there's the foyer again from looking above. And I'm going to try to make a closet underneath that staircase. There's my living room. Okay. And we'll go through one more time just to give you another view. I really like that wallpaper. That is from an antique pattern that I found, and I reconstructed it in Photoshop, which is what I do with all of the things that I print off, including the rugs. I may change the colors a bit and make some repairs and make it into a pattern so that it can be a continuous pattern printed out on 11 by 8.5 inch paper. And as I said, the only thing I didn't make in that room was that little bench in front of the wing chair. And there's the staircase through the foyer. And another view of what the graphic looks like for the landscape wallpaper. And my lamp, my bench with one of my paintings on the back of the bench. And I had this all in mind when I found that wallpaper, and I had to reconstruct it. It was, I had to actually paint in some of the trees because they were cut off in the print that I had. It's from a real wallpaper sample, but I put in colors that would tie in to the foyer. When I was growing up, we had a slate foyer very like this in our house, and this is patterned after that floor. And we did have a linoleum floor in our kitchen, but it wasn't this pattern, but it was an interesting pattern, to say the least. And we had wallpaper also very similar to this, but we didn't have jadeite greens in the house. We had more of browns and blues and reds and those colors. My mother was very good at taking all kinds of different patterns and creating a theme. We didn't have a lot of money, that's for sure, but my mother made things look really nice, and I'm sort of operating off of that. Very different from the way houses are today. And there's a window in the back, and that has the same color trim. The whole downstairs will be that burnt umber trim, and it'll tie in. The upstairs, I probably will do the boys' bedroom, which is on the right there on the second floor, and the bathroom, but I may use a cream color for the master bedroom, which is above. And I just put that on. None of the upstairs is glued together. It's just pinned together, and you'll see pins here and there. I will be painting, I won't be painting the ceilings white. I actually have white canvas that I'm going to glue onto the ceiling before I put it on the dollhouse. I put it together. So, and then there'll be another white ceiling above this, and then there will be an attic above it. So it'll have 3 floors. I have to decide what I'm going to do with the attic. Might make half of it a child's playroom and half of it, I don't know, maybe a storage area with stuff in it. And that little lamp on the table, that is very, very old. It's a little large for a 1/12, but it's just fine. I'm not really rigid about sizes. I try to get them in there. Well, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye-bye.